Hi, welcome back to my channel What Science Says. In this video, we know low carb versus fat loss diet, which is best for weight loss. The basis of each diet, although they both meant to help you lose weight, low carb and low fat diets are structured differently. The first one, low carb diet. Low carb diets limit your intake of carbs to varying degrees. They include very low carb diet, less than 10% of total daily calories or 20 to 50 grams per day on a 2000 calorie diet. Low carb diets less than 26% of total daily calories or fewer than 130 grams per day on a 2000 calorie diet. Moderate carb diet 26 to 44% of the total daily calories. Generally, low carb diets restrict foods like sugar sweetened beverages, baked goods, candies, and sweets. Some variants may also limit healthy carb sources such as grains, starchy vegetables, high carb fruits, and pasta. Simultaneously, you are meant to up your intake of protein and fat from wholesome sources like fish, meat, eggs, nuts, high fat dairy, unprocessed oils, and non-starchy vegetables. Now comes to low fat diet. Low fat diets involve restricting fat intake to less than 30% of total daily calories. High fat foods like cooking oils, butter, avocados, nuts, seeds, and full fat dairy are typically limited or banned. Instead, you are meant to eat naturally low fat foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, egg whites, legumes, and skinless poultry. Fat reduced foods like low fat yogurt, skim milk, and leaf curds are also sometimes permitted. Then, which is better for your health? Multiple studies have compared the effects of low carb and low fat diets on weight loss as well as several other aspects of health. In weight loss, most researchers suggest that low carb diets may be more effective for short-term weight loss than low fat diets. According to an older 6-month study in 132 people with obesity, those who followed a low carb diet lost over 3 times as much weight as those who followed a low fat calorie restricted diet. In a small 12-week study, adolescents with excess weight who followed a low carb diet lost an average of 21.8 pounds, literally 9.9 kg, compared with just 9 pounds, 4.1 kg for those on a low fat diet. Similarly, a 2-year study gave us 322 people with obesity either a low fat, low carb or Mediterranean diet. The low carb group lost 4.7 kg, the low fat group 2.9 kg, and the Mediterranean group 4.4 kg. However, other researchers suggest that low carb and low fat diets may be similarly effective in long run. According to a review of 17 studies, participants lost significantly more weight on a low carb diet than a low fat diet. Although the low carb diet was still more effective after 12 months, the difference between the two slowly decreased over time. Additionally, a 2-year study in 61 people with diabetes found that low carb and low fat diet resulted in a similar weight changes. A large meta-analysis of 48 studies also found that both low-fat and low-carb diets led to similar weight loss and noted that finding a diet that you can stick to may be the most important factor for successful weight management. Now comes to fat loss. Most studies indicate that low-carb diets are more beneficial for fat loss. A small 16-week study found that those who followed a low-carb, low-calorie diet experienced greater reduction in total fat mass and belly fat than those who followed a low-fat diet. A year-long study in 148 people observed similar findings. What's more, several other studies suggest that low-carb diet reduced belly fat to a greater extent than a low-fat diet. Additionally, one analysis of 14 studies found that low-carb diets and very low-carb diets in particular reduced fat mass in individuals with obesity. Hunger and appetite. Studies generally show that low-carb, high-protein diets decrease feelings of hunger and improve mood compared with low-fat diets, potentially making them easier to maintain long-term. For instance, one study in 148 people associated a low-fat diet with greater reduction in levels of peptide YY, a hormone that reduces appetite and promotes fullness, than a low-carb diet. This may be due to the filling effects of protein and fat. Both of these macronutrients slow the emptying of your stomach to help keep you feeling full for longer. Protein and fat have also been shown to affect several hormones that control hunger and appetite. In a small study, high protein and high fat meals increased levels of the fullness hormone glucagon like peptide and decreased levels of ghrelin, a hunger hormone, to a greater extent than a high carb meal. The blood sugar levels. Low blood sugar levels can increase feelings of hunger and cause serious side effects like shakiness, fatigue, and unintentional change in weight. Limiting carb intake is one strategy to help control blood sugar levels. One study in 56 people with type 2 diabetes determined that a low carb diet was more effective at controlling blood sugar, increasing the weight loss and reducing insulin needs compared with a low fat diet. Another small study in 31 people comparing the effects of both diets found that only the low carb diet reduced levels of circulating insulin, which led to increase in insulin sensitivity. Increased insulin sensitivity can improve your body's ability to transport sugar from your bloodstream into your cells, resulting in enhanced blood sugar levels control. Still, while a 3-month study in 102 people with diabetes revealed a low carb diet to be more effective than a low fat diet for weight loss, there was no significant difference in terms of blood sugar levels. Other effects on health. Low fat and low carb diets may affect other aspects of health in different ways. Those include cholesterol. A review of 8 studies found low carb diets to be more effective at improving levels of HDL cholesterol and decreasing the triglyceride levels than low fat diets. Neither diet significantly affected the LDL. Blood pressure. Although studies show that both diets can reduce short-term blood pressure levels, research on the long-term effects on blood pressure has been mixed. Triglycerides. Several studies note that a low-carb diet can lead to greater reduction in triglyceride than a low-fat diet. Insulin. Studies on a low-carb and low-fat diet's effects on insulin levels have turned up conflicting results. More research is needed to determine whether one is more beneficial than the other. Last one, what's the conclusion? Low-fat diets are considered a popular weight loss method. However, low-carb diets are linked to a greater short-term weight loss along with increased fat loss, reduced hunger, and better blood sugar control. While more studies are needed on the long-term effects of each diet, studies show that low-carb diets can be as effective for weight loss as low-fat diets and may offer several additional health benefits. Whether you chose a low carb or a low fat diet, keep in mind that sticking to an eating pattern over the long run is one of the most critical factors for success with both weight loss and overall health.